So we're at, in the course of time, Cain brought an offering to Hashem from the fruit of the soil. Vayehi Makutz. In the course of time. The Zohar, thank you. The Zohar states in Bereshit B, section 60, parashat 335, Cain brought his offering from the end of days. Makutz. Yamim. To be exact, the text uses the word Yamim, Yod Mem, days, and not Yamin, which is with a noon, which means right. Hence it is written of Daniel, and you go your way till the end and rest, and hence stand at your destiny. Daniel 12:13. Daniel asks the Holy One, blessed be He, end of Yamim or Yamin? For Yamim is an evil klipa. And he replied, at the end of days, Yamin. But Cain brought his offering from the end of days, Yamim, which is from the side of the angel of death. Thank you for your patience. To expound, the term in the course of time can be read as in the end of days. This refers to the end of the days of creation. In example, Malkut, which is the seventh day, referred to as the end of days. It was also explained in its place that there are 7 chambers in the earth. It is known Malkut in general is called Et, which refers to the 22 letters. And it is also known there are 5 Sophit, or final letters, which are Kof, Mem, Nun, Fe, and Sadiq, all final. It's explained by the Arizal that these 5 letters are the secret of the 5 Gevirot. It's also been explained that Cain is in the emergence of these Gevirot. Thus the term Makutz, from the end, can be read as Mem from Kotz 190. It is the value of the 22 letters and their 5 Sophit, for 27 times 7 for each of the 7 chambers, plus 27 times 7 is 190 in Galil. From the end, to further explain, the Arizal states in Sha'ar HaPisukim, as it is known, excuse me, the simple letter Tzadik hints to the back-to-back pairing of Abba and Ima before they were rectified. They were in the shape of 2 letters, and a Yud corresponding to Abba and a Nun corresponding to Ima. This is the solder secret of the Nun, Gematria 50, in Sha'arei Bina, 50 gates of understanding. They were facing away from each other like this, and it shows Yud, Nun. But the complication, just to add here, in the Arizal's works, it shows that the Yud is reversed. Thus, Cain was made from the word kos, or end, kof tzadik. And thus it says, at the end of days, Cain brought. The letter Nun is the backside of the Sepher Bina in the 231. The letter Nun is the backside of the Sepher Bina in the 231 gates Albam cipher. This further explains what has been stated. In example, Cain was formed by the backside of Ima, etc. Midrash Tanchuma 91 states, our sages of blessed memory said that Cain and Hevel were 40 years old when Cain brought of the fruit of the ground. We will discuss this matter later. Vayabo and brought, the letters Vav and Yud here, when expanded by the secret of the 52-letter name, have a value of 32, as explained in its place. Yod Vav, spelled out as 32. This refers to the Malkut of Ima, entering by the secret of the glory of the mother, as the word glory, Kobod, has a value of 32. It's well known this refers to the 10 Sephirot and the 22 connecting paths. Thus the term Vayabo and brought refers to the construction of the Partsufim of Cain, as alluded to in the writings of the Arizal. To expound further this term, Vav Yod Beit Aleph, Vayabo, and Brat, can be read as Viv Beit Ima, and the hand, Vayud, and the hand of the house of Ima, signifying Gevurah. Even further, the letter Vav personifying the Sephiroth of Gevurah, using the 231-gate Albam cipher, hinting at the left arm, Gevurah, as has been explained, in its place. Cain brought. By Yahweh Cain, it's been explained, he emerged on the outside of the divine body. Thus the vessels of Zeranpin did not envelop the aspect of the Nukva of Ima when it emerged. This caused the Chitzonim, or external forces, to suckle from the light, and so Cain was covered in hairs, hinted by the letter Kof, which is written Kof Vav Fe, Kupa, which means monkey, as a monkey is covered in hairs, which are the Chitzonim that were able to suckle from the lights of this Partsufim at this time. Cain emerged in the secret of the Malchut of Ima, which is harsh judgments, and the secret of the Partsufim Leah and its aspects. With this you can understand the sage's statement regarding Esau. It was fitting for Leah. And with this we can also understand why Esau was covered in hairs, being that the Malchut of Ima emerges first, and the 5 Geverot, which are the secret of the letter He. Again, Chaim Vital states, Cain is hinted at by the letter Kof, which is the shape of the letter He with an extended leg that goes down into the Klippa, and from which the Klippa latch onto. They are called snake, whose tail is long, in the secret of the letter Kof that emanates into the Klippa. The Kof of Cain. The He of Hevel teaches us that the Klippa does not latch onto the shorter leg. To further expound, it has been explained that Netzachot and Esod of Abba are invested within the Netzachot and Esod of Ima, and these form the Chokmah, Bina, and Da'ah of Zeranpin, the place where Cain and Hevel are first located in the secret of being birthed from their mothers Esod, etc. Cain took the letter Kof from his mother. This refers to the backside of Hod, as identified by the letter Kof using 231 gates Albam cipher. Cain, as it has been explained, Cain emerged in the secret of woman. To expound, the word Cain, when expanded, is 312, has the value of the woman Ha'esha, 312 in Kolel. Furthermore, the value of the word Cain, 160, is the same as the word Nephal, fallen. And the Zohar states regarding these matters that the sons of Cain are called sons of Elohim. Beni Elohim, which refer to the Nephilim. This is because he fell when the wings were removed, as will be explained on the word I, where. Maparai, from the fruit. The word fruit here has the same value of the word Eretz, 290 para, im Kolel, 291, the same as land, Eretz, 291. This is further hinted at by the word parai, fruit, 290 im Kolel, having the same value as the expansion of Elohim, with the Aleph corresponding to Malchut as is known, 291. This is because the ground was not settled, and was hinted at by our sages when they stated, and formless refers to Cain. This is because the earth, the Nukva, was not rectified, and caused tremendous damages to Zeranpin, called by the name Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh. The Arizal states this offering made the damages worse. In another place it was stated that Cain was punished with leprosy, Bereshit Rabbah 22:12. The reasoning is because these 7 earths and aspects of the Nukva connected to the body of Zeranpin, forming red circles to gather across the body of Zeranpin, which corresponds to Tiferet, hinted at by the name Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh. Hence, he brought the fruit of the ground to Yodevave, whereas his brother, after death, caused white spots to gather across the body of Zeranpin, as will be explained in its place. These damages are the secret of leprosy. The letter mem at the beginning of the word from the fruit, maparai, is the secret of why in Midrash Tanchum Bereshit 9:1 it says, our sages of blessed memory said that Cain and Hebel were 40 years old when Cain brought the fruit of the ground. The letter mem refers to the mem of the word selim or image, 160, the value of Cain. 160, it's known that the mem of selim refers to Sokma. And the Geberot, which were drawn down in the secret of the word the ground, ha'edama, as will be explained. Ha'edama, the ground, it's been explained, refers to Gevura of its aspect. Furthermore, accordingly, they were formless, Babohu, as explained in its place. The Midrash states formless. This refers to Cain, who brought formlessness to the world. Thus these aspects entered into the body of Zeranpin and caused leprosy and further damages, as it is explained by the Arizal in its place. Thus the Midrash in Bereshit Rabbah states 22:5, Cain brought an offering of the fruit of the ground to the Lord from the refuse. This is analogous to a malevolent sharecropper who eats the ripe fruit himself and provides the field owner with the unripe fruit. To expound, the first time ground is used refers to the lower Adamah, ground. The second time the letter He is at the front of ground, Ha-Adamah. This is because his brother Hebel, the secret of Chesed, had been born. It has also been explained that the letter He is in the front of Chesed, as is by the 231 gates Albaum cipher. It's also known as hinted by the Midrash that Cain was clothed by the aspects of Hebel. This refers to the Geberot of Abba and Ima. However, the overall rectification did not occur at this time. Hence, our sages said, who eats the ripe and provides the field owner with the unripe fruit. As was stated in another place, this refers to leprosy. Offering, the value of the word Menecha, or offering 103, is the same as the 52 named twice, indicating the upper and lower ground, as was previously discussed. To Hashem refers to the Zeranpin. The letter Lamed at the beginning of the word to Hashem refers to the Lamed of Selim, which refers to the aspects of Bina, as it is known. And Hebel, for his part, brought the choicest of the firstlings of his flock. Hashem paid heed to Hebel in his offering. And Abel, for his part, brought the choicest of firstlings of his flock. The word and Hebel, Vav He, Beit Lamed 42, has the value of 42. It was explained regarding the word nu, Edu. It was explained that there are 42 from Ima and 42 from Abba, and these 42 here refers to Abba. To expound, it's stated by the Arizal and Sha'ar Pisukim. There is also another explanation. If Cain will be avenged sevenfold, based on what our sages stated, Moshe had 7 names. Likewise, Yitro, his father-in-law, had 7 names. The beginning of Cain's rectification was through Yitro, as it says in Sepher HaTikunim on the verse, I have acquired a man with Hashem. Thus it says, if Cain be avenged, Yukum, sevenfold, using an expression of Kima, meaning arising and ascending. Since when Moshe and Yitro came together, each having 7 names, Cain arose from his falling to be rectified. There is also a hint that the beginning of his rectification was through Moshe, who had 7 names, when he killed the Egyptian using the 42-letter name of God in Shem HaMeperesh. It was to rectify him. The Nefesh of Cain into holiness. The word Yichum, avenged, allude to the reincarnations of Cain. Yod of Yitro, Kof of Korach, Mem of Mitzri the Egyptian. He continues, thus the killing of the Nefesh of the Mitzri or Egyptian, and Moshe's marriage to Yitrah's daughter Tzipporah, both of whom had 7 names. Further, when he killed the Mitzri Egyptian, he rectified the evil heart of the Nefesh of Cain. There's a tikkun at the bottom of the page. Now 726. This rectification came about by the 42-letter name that was pronounced over the Egyptian, as was mentioned. This name refers to 6 times 7, 42, hinting at what has been mentioned. There's a tikkun here. This hints to the name Hevel being mentioned 7 times, as has been discussed. And Hevel, it has been explained, the name is mentioned 7 times, hinting to what has been stated. In addition, it is also known that the Leviathan is in the secret of the central pillar, and is mentioned in Book 22 of the Zohar, section of the Leviathan, states, what is the Leviathan? It is he whose grade is the central pillar. Thus the name Hevel, when expanded, 496, has the value of Leviathan, 496, and Malkut, 496. Regarding this, it is stated by our sages, he slain the female and castrated the male. This refers to Hevel, who was slain, and Noach, who was castrated. Firstlings refer to the term chariots, which refers to the 6 aspects of Zeranpin, as it is written 600 chariots, etc. His sheep, Tzanu, refers to the 7 days under the mother, as has been explained. Hence these aspects of Hevel spread through Zeranpin, and were at this time called a chariot, as he was at the level of child, Yenuka, for those who are versed in the secret of wisdom. V'makla refers to the Mochin brains. Moch brains of Zeranpin is known canon that will emanate from his Da'at. It's also known the Gevurah enter into the Nukva, and the Chassidim enter the body of Zeranpin. Hence the letters Log hint to the word heart, referring to the lower 6 of Zeranpin called heart. Bayosh, paid heed. This refers to the spreading of 370 that occurred here, hinted at the letter Shin and Ayin, which value 370. It's mentioned in the Zohar that the spreading of 370 refers to the aspects of Arak Anpin that enter within. Hence the name El for Kased, Gevurah, an example El Gavor and Kased El. Hint to this spreading. The value of the 2 expansions of this name El is 370, hinting to this. Aleph Lamed's 185, twice is 370. Yod He Vav He Zeranpin, and this shows 2 El Hevel, 2 Hevel, and that's Aleph Lamed. As has been explained, the name El refers to the name of God, referring to Kased, which is the level of Hevel. The name El here refers to the spreading on the right side as the expansion of this name, Aleph Lamed 185. And his offering. The Vav here refers to the Sepher Gevurah, which also has the name El in the secret of El Gevurah, referring to Gevurah. This refers to the spreading of 185 to one side, 185 to the other side. This is the spreading of the aspects of the 370 within Zeranpin, and are hinted at by the 2 names of El used in this place. El Hevel Va'el. The Zohar mentions these lights spread through 7,300,000 worlds, etc. Chaim Vital writes in Eitz Chaim regarding this matter, there are 370 in another method. It is by the spelling of the 63 name, which values Yod He Vav He, 37, the expansion letters. That's the expansion letters equal 37 in value, the same as Hevel. 10 times 37 is 370. According to another sage's Moshe, who reincarnated. According to other sages, Moshe, who is the reincarnation of Hevel, has 10 names, not 7, hinting at this. Refer to the next section for the explanation of the offering. It's known that the 2 brains of the Klippa are called Sepher, bird, and the value of this word is 370, which refers to this spreading. But to Cain and his offering God paid no heed. Cain was much distressed, and his face fell. But to Cain and to his offering, the two uses of El hinted to the spreading of 370 in the aspect of the left, as referenced by the expansions, which value 370. That's Aleph Lamed spelled out. It was stated the two brains of the klipo are called Sepher, or bird, at Sadi Fe Resh, which values 370. Excuse me. Cain, a further allusion to what has been established regarding the relation to 370 and the brains of the klipa called bird, 370. The name Cain, when squared, has a value of 370. Kof Yod, Nun, 370. Now Cain, it has been explained, took the highest lights of Abba that fell, and it was stated that Yaakov would grasp these sparks in the heel of Esau, as hinted at by the Arizal in Sha'ar HaPisukim. Thus the name Cain, when squared, alongside the 6 letters, have a value of 376, which is the same as Esau. Ein Shin Vav. Paid no heed. Our sages state that he did not, quote, turn to Cain. This refers to Zerah and Pin when it was in a back-to-back pairing with the Partsufim Leah. Thus the words no heed, lo osha, can be rearranged as Leah osh, Leah and moth, which value 370. This hints to the klipa called 370 as it's written, and the moth, osh, devours them like a garment, Isaiah. To expound further, Chaim Vital writes in Eitz Chaim, now there are 370 lights on the side of Chokmah, and 370 lights on the side of Bina. He continues, know that these 370 lights of the upper face extend to the 6th palace of Hod, which is called the palace of the essence of the heavens. Excuse me. Cain was very distressed, and his face fell. To expound regarding what has been previously established regarding the 370 that extended to Hod, the Bina of Zeranpin, which is the root of Cain in Ta'at. Chaim Vital writes, the Ruach called light of the Peniel is there because 378 lights extended there as mentioned in Pekudei 248. They have the numerical value of light of Peniel or Peniel 378. The letters of the light of Peniel are divided. That is, the light of the upper face extended from El, which is the 2 L's spelled out, 370, the 2 names, Yod He Vav He, and Yod He Vav He again, 146, alongside their 10 letters each have the value of face, Pene 146. And there are many expressions for the 263s and the 2 L's, as mentioned above. They also have the value of amber, which the value 378 for Kashmal. With the aforementioned statements, we can understand what is meant here by his face fell. And it was explained the name Cain 160 has the same value as fallen, Nephal. And these lights fell into the klipo here. The word very, ma'ed, refers to the angel of death, as is stated in Zohar Bereshit A, precept 13. Chaim Vital further writes, no, there is an aspect of 370 in the cortex of the brain. These 370 are opposite 370 of holiness of Arak Anpin. They are called 370 in the secret of a moth. Osh, a moth will eat them like a garment, Isaiah 59. It eats and destroys the upper garments, which are the aspects of the garment which has the numerical value of amber, Chashmal 378. The point is there is an aspect of the cortex, the ket of amber, is refined Kashmal, as mentioned in section by Eichel of Zohar. The aspect of the cortex wanted to receive this light, but it was only able to receive 370. The aforementioned 370 were made from them, however, the cortex could not receive the additional 8, which are the aspect of the 8 of whiteness. They are superior and illuminate the 370 that are in the face. Menacto, offering, here may now be expounded. Understand the value of this word offering minus the ket is 496, the same as Malkut, from the letters Manto, 496, of the word Manakto, offering. The remaining 8, the Ket, did not enter into the brains of the cortex of Zeranpin, which are the two birds, Sepher, as has been explained at length. The word Manakto, or offering, in this unique spelling is used for both Hevel and Cain and allude to the aforementioned aspects. These two offerings were the lights and development of the two brains, an example Chokmah and Bina of Zeranpin. However, the lights of Cain fell, and in the secret of Amoth destroyed the upper garment, that is to say, killed Hevel, as will be explained. Thus his face fell, and these lights were absorbed by the Klipa, and Zeranpin altered in this place, creating many demons, as it will be explained in the genealogy. See also regarding the term begot, Hilad, and how they were begotten from the male aspect without female. This is due to these lights that fell from the male, in example Cain, in this place. When Hevel falls, they were given a light and a vessel, as discussed, in its place. Okay. And Hashem said to Cain, "Why are you distressed, and why is your face fallen?" And Hashem said to Cain, to explain the word and said, Vayamor, are rearranged to Meor, light of Hu. This refers to the light of Bina that entered in clothed to Cain. It's been explained that the squaring of Cain is 370. These lights cause a falling of the lights in the Hod of Ima, which refers to the Bina of Zeranpin. Why are you distressed, and why is your face fallen? Now it has been explained that the name Cain 160 has the value of the word Selim, image. To expound, Kaimatau writes, this is the subject of the brains of childhood. You know that Adam was formed from the Selim, or image 160 of Elohim, Genesis 1:27. From my flesh I will see Elohim, Eloah, Job 19:26. Now the likeness of Adam, which is the first drop, emerged from the brain of the father and entered the belly of the woman. It came into being there, and a form was made. We already explained the subject of the seed's 3 days of reception, the subject of the 40 days of the formation of the fetus, and the subject of the 3-month-old fetus. However, we will now describe what brains the fetus had after the completion of conception, after he was born, and after he had grown. We always call these 3 stages of conception, sucking, and brains. With this we can understand Cain was 40, etc. He writes again, from what you have been taught from the secret of Adam, you can understand that he was in the Selim of Elohim, and in the form of Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh. One is the interior, in example, Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, and one is the exterior, in example, Elohim. Thus, when the child began, he began from a lower grade. His first brains were from the exterior, which is Elohim. This is the secret of the membranes. They are always in childhood. Afterwards, he rose to the grade of Hashem, and he had the brains of Yod and Elohim's. Further, during conception, the child did not have 3 brains of childhood, but only 2. They were the brains of Chokmah and Bina. The child did not have the brain of Da'at. Even though he had Chokmah and Bina, they were of no benefit to him, because Chokmah and Bina were concealed and only revealed through Da'at, which was not revealed. Therefore, the child was like an animal. With this, we can understand why only Cain and Hevel are mentioned, being Chokmah and Bina of Zeranpin, during the phase of suckling. This is also the reason why Hevel was a shepherd of sheep, as this refers to the animal state of Zeranpin in this state. Again, then we find that suckling is not for Zeranpin, but the 6 extremities. This is the secret of his small coat. His mother, in the secret of upper Ima, whose Netzach coat and Esod, entered into the head of Zeranpin with the brains of childhood. With this we can understand our sage's statement regarding the dispute of Cain and Hevel, take it off, reverting to the 6 extremities. He continues in another place. Now, the 3 names themselves did not enter the vessels to be their life force first, but their spellings entered first, because they are the lowest grade of the names as mentioned in the discourse of the 288 sparks. Now the spelling of these are numbered. When we subtract the simple names of Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, the numerical value of 26, we're left with 46 from 72, 37 from 63, and 19 from 45 entered first. With this, we can understand the construction of Zeranpin as it has been related so far, and here's the answers. At the top of the page is a tikkun. Now, to expound why Cain came before Hevel, it's written in Eitz Chaim, you need to know another principle that is in all the form, Selim, of Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Kaya, and Yekida. The aspect of the Nefesh came first. The Ruach of the six extremities to form Selim were after this. He continues, now the form Selim has a Sadi. Ruach is included in it. The aspect of likeness, Damot, was given to the Nufa. However, the Sadi of Selim was for the male. It was the aspect of Ruach. It is called Da'at. It spread through the whole body, and the secret of, and with Da'at knowledge are the chambers filled. Proverbs 24:4. This Da'at has 3 brains, which are called Hokmah, Bina, and Da'at of Da'at. They sped through the 3 lines of Zeranpin to Netzach, Hod, and Yesod. With what has been stated, we can understand the secret of what has just been stated regarding Cain, and that the Yud and the Nun of his name form a Sadiq. This spreading is in the secret of the 7 levels of the earth, referring to the Nefesh, hence he was called a living soul. And it's stated regarding this, there are 7. Nonetheless, they are counted as 6, from which afterwards the aspect of Hevel came, which are 7 breaths, Hevel. And these 7 breaths are the reception of the Ruach into Zeranpin. For this reason, Zeran referred to as a sheep, Tzan. Even as the spirit moves the body, so was Hevel a shepherd of the sheep. Later, the Torah continues with the matter of Cain, and the ordinal value of Cain, plus the 3 letters, equals 46, referring to the 72 name as it was explained above. According to the opinion of some sages, Cain was killed by Lamech, hinting to these lights descended later. It is known death is descent. There's a tikkun here. Your face fallen, it has been explained the lights of the 3 brains descended, and this is hinted at by the word panika, your face, which has a value of 160, the value of Cain. The aspects of 72 has not yet entered, as will be explained. So we have this 52, the 45, and 63. Now I'll briefly describe the descent of the lights as it relates to this section of the Torah. Understand the expansion of the 52 names, minus the simple letters of Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, value 26. And thus we can understand what is written, I begot a man with the help of Hashem, as the light of 52 entered, and afterward the lights of the 19 of 45, and afterwards the aspects of 37 of 63, and later the lights of 46 of 72. For this reason, it says regarding Lamech, according to one opinion of the sages, I killed a man for my wounding, refers to Cain, as his lights descended in last. Consider carefully what has been stated. And so here's the names. 37. These lights. The tikkun continues on 731 at the top, at the end of it. All of this occurs in absolute of this aspect, and it was stated in the Zohar that Cain was born from the side of the angel of death. Thus the name angel of death, 537, is the same value as absolute. Now to explain up to this point, when Adam was first created, it was in the Selim of Elohim. Zeranpin was in the aspect of conception. However, being in the name of Elohim, it was from the externals. Now we need to understand that there is an internal and external aspect to the externals. This is the secret of wisdom in understanding. After the external aspects were formed as vessels, the lights of the externals entered. This is a story of Cain and Hevel, since it states that begot a man with the help of Hashem, etc. As this use of the name Hashem has et before it, signifying that we are explaining the internal aspects of the exteriors. Regarding the et in front of the name Hashem, in Bereshit 4:1, the Midrash Bereshit Rabbah 22:2 states, Rabbi Ishmael asked Rabbi Akiva, saying to him, because you studied under Nachum of Gamzo for 22 years, who taught the words Akka and Rak are restrictive expressions, Et and Gam are exclusive expressions, I ask you, what is the meaning of Et that is written here? He said, had it been written Kaniti Ish Hashem, it would have been difficult, so instead it stated with God, Et Hashem. He said to him, for it is not an empty matter for you, Mikem. Deuteronomy 32:47. If it is empty, it is because of you, Mikem, because you do not know how to. Referring to the deep complexities of what has been stated in this is not a simple matter. Thus the interior lights of the exteriors entered, in which are the expansions of the names, as has been explained. The Chokmah and Bina, formed by Cain and Hevel, signify that Zeranpin was in this state of suckling, therefore could not draw from Da'at, thus were of no avail to him. It states regarding both offerings by our sages that they were defective. But to give a brief description, these represent the conception of Zeranpin during the phase of suckling as has been described. Thus, only the two brains were developed in their external and internal aspects of the exteriors. Afterwards, Seth was born, which is the external vessel of Da'at, and hence Enosh, and the world blasphemes the name of Hashem, etc. Furthermore, Enoch walked with Elohim, etc. See therefrom further explanations of what has been stated. Afterwards, Zeranpin was in the state of childhood, from which Noach, who represents the internal aspects of the exterior Da'at. Thus he was, quote, born circumcised, the aspect of Esau, etc. Afterwards we find the internal exteriors were developed in Zeranpin, being Chesed to Abraham, Gevurah, Yitzhak, Tifras, Yaakov, Esau to Yosef, and Moshe to Malchut. These matters of the internal light will be explained in its place. Thus Yaakov, Moshe are called child, etc. With this we can understand why the patriarchs were chariots to Hashem. Consider carefully, as the chariot represents the exterior. Later, the prophets and writings describe the interior aspects of the interior. In example, Hashem of hosts, which are Netzachot and Esod of the interior of interiors. And this is where the prophets, drew their light from. The writings refer to the upper aspect of the interiors, and consider carefully what is written here. Okay. I think we'll stop here on page 732 for tonight. Surely if you do right, there's uplift, but if you do not do right, sin crouches at the door. Its urges toward you, and yet you can be its master. Of course, this has to do with the forms, and I refer everyone to the front of this work. Do you guys have any thoughts or questions before we wrap tonight? All glory to Hashem. Thank you, Yirah, for this astonishing work. And thank you each for joining me to study this evening. Shalom, Laila Tov, Yom Tov.
Laila Tov.
Shalom.